As a social media manager who works for a social media influencer marketing platform, I'm obsessed with those videos that go over do's and don'ts and tips for aesthetic Instagram stories. So I thought I'd come on here and share mine. And before I start, I just want to say if you do or don't do any of these things, or if you disagree, that's totally fine. Social media is meant to be fun, so please do whatever makes you happy and take this with a grain of salt. The first thing I think can make a story not aesthetic is having these borders on the top and the bottom of the photo. This happens if you're adding a picture that was taken outside of Instagram and wasn't taken on the 16:9 ratio. I just think this looks so much nicer and doesn't take away from the photo having those borders on the top and the bottom. Sometimes you do have to zoom in a little bit if the photo isn't the right size, but I almost think it looks better that way. And if you want to avoid having the borders on your story altogether, just take the picture in Instagram. Or if you're taking photos in your camera app on your phone, just select this little 4:3 button and then click 16:9 for that dimension. When it comes to text placement and size, I typically like when the text is a little bit more on the smaller side, and I love it if the text can be like smack in the center of the photo, but sometimes things kind of get in the way. So as long as it's still vertically centered, like on the vertical line, I think that still looks really nice. But there are going to be times when you have a photo and putting the text in the center or even vertically on the center is just going to clash with the photo or the colors in that picture. So if you can find an area of the photo that has kind of like a clear space, preferably if it's like white or like all one solid color, I think it looks really nice when the text is there, kind of like in this picture. And then this might be a hot take, but I really do not like GIFs on stories. I'm sorry. This is coming from someone who used to add a GIF on literally every single story that I posted. And the main reason I stopped is because I noticed it was lowering the quality of my photo or video when I would add one. But if you like GIFs, please feel free to still use them. I do think some of them are cute. Like I said, I just think it kind of lowers the quality. And just from what I have seen from other creators while I've worked in this industry, I just kind of like the style without them more. And lastly, when it comes to fonts, these are two of my favorites on Instagram called Poster and Deco. I also love them together if that makes sense for your story or if you like combining fonts. I also really like these, Squeeze and Literature. Again, I like them together or on their own. And then I would say my four least favorite are these four here, either because they're just hard to see on screen sometimes with the font, or they capitalize everything, or they just don't look as aesthetic to me. Again, please do whatever you want and take this with a grain of salt. It's just social media. And let me know if you want a part two.